Oh, hi everybody. Thank you for tuning in. So, I ran into a little bit of a problem being a maker. Why I haven't done anything. It's because of this. And I got a lot more that are like this. Even though I keep my filament safe in a dry container in these nice little paper bags, so plastic bags I should say, zip-locked, of course, with silica gel inside of it, this happens. You get a roll of filament, you get it ready, you're getting ready to print. What happens? It is so dried out, it just chips away. Little pieces just break off. Even though you have the filament was in a bag from the elements, again, breaks like just like that. It snaps. What are you going to do? Well, do you really want to dispose of a kilo of filament? It's kind of ridiculous if you ask me. Same with this filament over here, which I'll pull up in a second here. It's not just the cheap filament suffers from this. Expensive filament does. Bag of right here. This is PLA. Color Fab Orange. And it's so brittle at times, you can just go like that. And it just breaks off in your hand. That's not right. So what can you do? Well, you can go buy a new one, but that seems like a waste of money. And it's just, and why would you want to spend that type of money? Even though you had silica gel in there, that should get the filament dry, but not necessarily. Well, that silica gel is bad. Well, that could be an option too. Water can get into anything. It comes out of your oxygen, HO2, is HO2, which is the form for water, also can affect it. So water is all around us. It's not really a way that you can escape it. Now, you can get one of these little guys. This is a hydrometer. Gives you an idea of what your humidity is in here. Right now my humidity is saying at 43%, with the temperature being at 20 degrees Celsius. So comfortable. So what my friend said, well, you can get a dehumidifier. You can get a dehumidifier. That sounds kind of a little bit bizarre, but in a basement that wouldn't work well. So instead, he told me to buy. A friend told me to get a food dehydrator, cut out the centers, and use it. But I thought to myself, well, there has to be a better way. I mean, what if I want to use this for cooking jerky? You never know. I might want to try. Well, I can't, because I've cut out all the centers, because that's what you have to do for the filament to fit. I thought to myself, there has to be a better way. So after talking to a few of my friends, they turned me on to a cake carrier. This one right here. This is made by Streetlight. This is a 12-inch cake carrier. And I thought to myself, a cake carrier? Well, I'll show you what I'm going to do with this cake carrier. But let's go over what we're going to need first. So I'm just going to go over some of the tools that we're going to need here. First of all, we're going to need a power tool, a drill, drill bits. Specifically, drill bits you're looking for as a 3/8, and I believe it's a 1564. Bearings. You're only going to need one. I recommend these ones I've gotten. These are called Lowrider. They're from snakejunk.com. They're an they're skater skate bearing. The 608s. But these are rated at EBEC 7 or ABEC 7, which is considered not a lot of restriction to it. And after talking to a few people, they recommended this one as it may be good in heat, as it won't dry out in heat. So it's okay, I'll give that a shot. And then you need to print an item from Thingiverse. This is what the filament is going to sit on in your cake dehydrator. So it has ways to move around as your heat is going into this to dry out your filament. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what we've done so far. So now you can use a drill press if you have one. That's up to you. So what I'm going to first start doing is I started drilling holes in here as test runs, right here and right here, to see how strong the plastic is as I drill across. You'll already see these four drilled. That was drilled with the 1564, if I remember correctly. Yeah, 1564 was a drill bit to drill these holes. And what's going to happen is this is going to mount onto this. Without that on it, of course. So you mount that on, get some screws, bolt it down. That's simple enough. But you're probably asking, well, I have a hand drill, and you want to make the holes straight? Well, you can still do that. It's a little trickier to do it with a hand drill, but just for argument's sakes, we're going to show you how to do this on here. And I'm just going to get some clamps to clamp this down, and I'll be back in a second, and I'll explain how you would drill this and keep your arm steady enough so you can make the holes. And then when we come back, we'll have all this drilled out. I will also have the complete on there, and we will get it to mount onto the food dehydrator. So you're going to see cutscene. I'll be back in a few seconds. Welcome back. So let's get this all set up. So right here I got a couple of clamps. Not necessarily needed. Depends on your area. If you have like a small room and you don't have like an outside area that you can set this up, I would prefer to do this outside, but unfortunately I don't have that ability at this present time to do that outside. And it's been kind of crappy weather the last couple of days out here. So I'm just going to put that in the chuck. So what I'm using right here is just some spare pieces of wood I have kicking around, just to give it a little bit of height. Now what I'm looking for is where I started to drill, which is right here. And I've placed this over so I'm not anywhere giving the same problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crank this up. Trust me, it's a lot easier than it seems. There we go. Okay. There we go. Now I know you're saying, well, if you have an area where you can work in, that's great. I don't have that option. Like I said, I don't have the workspace, which would have been great to have to do this plan, but this is a project, and you know, what if other makers don't have this type of option available? So the best way to do it is to find where you want to drill. Place your drill bit down on it, make a nice little hole, but figure out like where would be the best point. So right now I'm judging about here to here in this area of this circle to find out where it's the best place for me to drill. So I figured right here would probably be my best bet, and I'm just going to go for it. Here, hand down on the center so it doesn't move too much. And I got the bit set to non-hammer mode. My drill does support hammer, and I got this set right on the mark. What I do is I usually go in slow, and then I go in fast, and then go right through, then reverse it with the same type of way. And just look at it and make sure that the hole's okay. Sometimes you may have to take a little bit of sandpaper to it, but just to show you guys, The hole is there. The hole is there. What you do is you want to go around your whole thing and drill out everywhere. Leave plastic here because you're going to want the air some way to pass through. And you want there to be enough support that when you're putting this on, it's going to have that. So what I'm going to continue is I'm going to continue drilling all the holes. And when we come back, I may be in a different shirt, maybe not, and we'll go from there. So guys, give me a few minutes while I start drilling. Okay, great. Oh, hey everyone, you're back. Great to hear that. So I just finished drilling out all the holes out of the filament dryer here, so let's disconnect it. So those are clamps out of the way. I'll show you guys the perforated holes. So it's like a strainer almost, but unfortunately I had a lot of problems dealing with some holes here where it came out a little bit wonky here and also in here. But all in all, like, I mean, you look at these ones, these turned out not too great, but this one turned out really good. And it's just on the amount of plastic in each one. It seemed to be a little wonky in the plastic. There was more plastic in one area than there was in another area, and that when the drill was going, if it wasn't drilling straight down, it slipped a little, it nicked an edge and caused these like really big openings. But that doesn't matter because we want as much heat to come through this as possible because you're going to be heating up filament. Now, this blue part here is the part I was talking about that's on Thingiverse, which I will have a link down in the description. So what this does is this allows your filament to sit above it, like so, and allows the air to come up. And the reason you want to put the bearing in it is that if the air is pushing it a little, this will allow your filament to spin a little to allow the air to pass through it better. So we'll put this together. So using 4 of these screws here, I went to Home Depot and I told them the size of drill I used, which I have explained at the beginning of the video, the one I used here. And all I did was have this printed out, bought the screws, bought some nuts, and then we're going to put this on. So let's get to this. Now, even if it's not dead center, it's not going to affect it at all. It's going to make it a little bit of a, just make it offsided, but it shouldn't affect it at all. Because you got to remember that this thing is actually set up in such a way that it lifts off of, it's lifted off a little bit off the top here. So when you bolt it down, it'll just bolt to the size and be able to conform for it. When I went to Home Depot, I told them that I was going to be using this in a very, very hot situation. About, said about maybe 100 degrees centigrade, and they recommended that these screws and these bolts will be the best for me to use. Once I find out what size these are, I will definitely put them in the description. So everything that I'm covering right now will be in the description, including links to where to buy everything. And I don't think they're going to be affiliate linked right away. So if you want the affiliate links, you can always message me, and if I've already updated them, I'll let you know that those links were affiliate upgraded. If not, no rush. Now, there is one other thing that we do have to prep for drilling. I'll go over that in a second here. Don't be surprised if your holes are just a little bit tight. Mine, unfortunately, the drill kind of slipped a little, so I think one of these is a little off, so it's a little tight to put these all tightened up, so that's why I'm struggling a little bit right now. But nothing that a little bit of a screwdriver and clamps can't fix. So once you have that on, now here's where I had a little bit of a problem. Sometimes this is a little tight to get on. Just take a little bit of sandpaper, sand a little bit around here, and leave a little bit of the rest, and that way this will slide on a little bit nicer. And then I'll take a roll of filament here. since our orange is going to be the first one to go into the dryer. And it's just going to sit like that. Pretty simple. And as you can see, it's free spinning, so once you get it set up and the air is pushing through it, it'll automatically kind of turn it itself. So don't knock it that it's not centered or anything like that. It's okay. It's not going to make a big difference. So I'm just going to tighten this up. Let's also talk about what we got to do next. So the next part we're going to be working on is going to be the lid. So the lid we want, yes, we want to drill holes in. Why do we want to drill holes in the lid? Well, because we want to let some of the water, when we evaporate the water, we need it to go somewhere. Water will turn to steam, and cracking open a little bit of the dome, we can create a steam trap to get rid of some of the steam. So what I usually recommend, there's two ways you can do this. What I'm thinking is drilling 3 holes. Now, one here, here, and here, and here, here, and here. Now you notice there's no strap here. I've taken the strap off, which is right here, so I can continue, so I can drill into this easily. So I'm going to take a couple pieces of my wood that we used in the previous, that I used previously for drilling, stack it on top. That gives me a nice flat surface, and I'm going to drill the holes in here. So grab our drill, we'll look inside, and we'll drill really slowly. And there's one hole. So I'm going to go across here. I'm going to drill all the holes for you and get that all set up here. So bear with me. We'll just take a few seconds to get that done. This plastic is really hard, so I'm going to warn you right now, guys. This plastic is super, super hard. It's unbelievable how hard this plastic is to drill through. It's puncturing through, so as you can see here, I can see the bulge here. So I might have to drill the very dangerous way. I do not recommend this way. But there I got through. Oh. So yeah, I'm going to do the rest of this drilling off camera. Once I get it done, I will come back. So once you have this drilled out, what you're going to do is once you get the filament in there, you just put this on top. So now you have your way for your air to evacuate out. These to snap in. And hold your this filament dryer all together. So let's get this set up. I'm going to put some filament on here and we'll look at some information. So we'll get to that right now. So here's my food dehydrator that I bought. So what we're going to do, we're going to remove a couple of plates here that we don't need. You can put them back in the box for safekeeping and storage, you know, because when you don't need your food dehydrator, it's easier to put away in a box. Now, you can do two ways of looking at doing this. So here's one of the racks. Here's your food dehydrator rack that you built with the pot, making it from a cake pan. Well, cake carrier, I should say. As you can see, it's pretty, you know, big. It's roughly the same size. So what you do is you just put this on top, like so. And once you have it sitting there, you got your filament, you lock it in, it'll sit there properly because it fits in between the plastics. Now, you can do it on one rack, or what a lot of people suggest is use your first rack, put down all your silica gel. Second rack, take it, find those hooks that allow it to raise a little higher, and that allows more air to come up and filter your actual filter when you're ready to put the lid on top. To put your lid on top, lock it, and away you go. Now we're going to go to a certain website called Print Dry, because Print Dry actually has a scale telling you of how long this needs to print, what they suggest they have to print. So we're going to go back to the computer. We're going to look on their website and see what they recommend, and we will definitely do a test on that. Well, let's go check it out. Okay, we're back at the computer now. As you can see, I brought up the Print Dry website here, as you can see in the background. So let's go and look at their information here. So we're going to go to their Filament Dry section, where they talk about how their machine works. It's just a glorified food dehydrator. But because they put so much engineering into it, they want to say it's more than that. So here's the rated temperature. So for PLA, they're saying 45 Celsius. They want us to set the unit to, and it should take about 4 hours. PETG, 65 in 2 hours. Nylon takes the longest. Desiccant takes about 3 hours. TPU 50, ASA 60, PP 55, 6 hours. So the longest one here is definitely nylon at 12 hours. Ugh. And yeah, so what we're going to do a drying of the orange. As I showed you guys already, the orange is just totally wet. I mean, I've not seen filament. Like, even when I print, the filament looks like it's falling apart when printing. So I'm going to go dry out the orange, and we're going to go check it and see how it looks after 4 hours. And I may throw some silica gel in there too, just to dry it out, because I have a couple of packages I would like to dry out. And because I have a lot of other rolls sitting here that do need to be dried out, it's not a bad idea. So I'm going to go and get that all set up, and yeah, we'll check in afterwards. But if you want to, you might want to take a screen, you might want to cut that out, attach it to your filament dryer so you never lose it. It's a way to remember, okay, I got some filament I need to dry. What's the temperature I need to set it at? It's just a way to remember. Well, the filament's now dry. We're going to test it out. And already I can tell you, just looking at the filament, it's a lot better in condition than it was beforehand. As you can see, It's not brittle. It's not cracking. Very movable. Not giving me any problems whatsoever. So we're going to throw this in the film. We're going to throw this in the CR10 over here. We're going to print the feed out again. And then I want to go back and we're going to talk about the print from before I got the filament dry to the print with the filament dry. So stay tuned for that and we'll be right back. Hi everybody. I know I'm supposed to have a print here with me to show off the quality of the print, but I want to show you something. Anyways, I'm having an issue with the CR10. The CR10 seems to be having its own weird issue printing anything right now. I did one print already with one of the blacks that was wet, and the model is in a lot better shape. This is a battery case holder. It's actually fairly tight around where it's supposed to lock in and lock out. So now let's just put it this way. If the CR10, if the black filament was never dried out, this thing would be more bubbly and gooey than you can understand, that you would not understand. There would be extrusions everywhere. It would be, you could press it, it'll break. This is in good condition, standing up well, so can't complain. Let me show you the orange. Now, this is Dutch orange, I meant to say in the first part, so I do apologize for that. You'll see corrections throughout the video as you get to this part. It is what it is. So here's the Dutch orange once it was done. So I just want to show you guys here. It's in excellent condition. It's not breaking. Has very good flex in it. Watch. I can bend it right over, and it has not tried to snap off or break. Usually it breaks as soon as you touch it. So that's a great improvement on the filament. Now, why have I not printed with this? Well, that's the problem. Until the CR10 gets fixed, I can't really print out those CR10 feet. I'm hoping to have the CR10 up and running soon because I've been doing a lot of testing. We've been doing a lot of fixing of the CR10. When we got back from Earth, there was a lot of problems with the CR10, and there seems to be more problems rearing its ugly head, including a factor that my CR10 is super loud now. It seems one of the fans is dying in it, so I gotta have to do a little bit of work on it. So hopefully that'll be a whole bunch of videos, overhauling a CR10 and making it quieter, better performing, the whole 9 yards. So now that we got the printer working, I'm going to do another print with this orange, and it'll be the feed again. And when I do it, I will do a time lapse with it. You'll see a video go up of me using Octoprint to do the time lapse. Once it's said and done, I will then review the feed again and have a look at it. It might be just the way it prints. It might have been just a bad print. But I can tell you right now that this stuff used to break so easily. I would just touch it and it would break. So drying it for a total of 4 hours was worth it. Another thing I didn't really mention in the video, and I want to clear this up right now. The time that they give on print dry is what I'm using as a reference. They also have, they said that is only for 500 kilograms. So, this is where math comes into play. So you're going to have to figure out how much your filament weighs. When I was measuring my filament reels, I was seeing 600 or 700 grams. I'm like going, but there's only like a third of it on there, or there's only half on there. So I was making a judgment call saying my scale was off maybe by 100 or 200 grams. But after weighing a few of the empty spools, I want to thank one person out there, John Mack, for helping me out with this. He sent me a whole bunch of pictures of all his spools, and they were coming up to 200 to 300 grams. So you're going to have to take judgment with a grain of salt. If you know how much is on your spool,
when you buy it, weigh it, minus that from, the amounts of grams that you may have, and then that will give you any information. Right now, what I am doing is I'm working on a scale that I will put on the website. Hopefully I can put on the website soon. Or a document, that is. But it's going to show you the spool, how much it weighs, and then so you guys got an idea of how much you need to think about taking off. I would actually, if you're measuring with a spool, I would take off at least 220 grams. It sounds like a lot, but in reality, the spool weighs about that much. So it kind of evens itself out there for weight-wise. But, it's something to think about. But anyways, yeah, I just want to apologize that we don't have a picture of it yet. Now that the ZR10 is working, but I wanted to get this video out first before I even attempt that. So I want to say I do apologize that there is no video showing the strength is back. It's not what I wanted, but unfortunately it is what it is right now. But I want to thank you always for, responding, coming on here. Listen, if you have anything to say, hit the thumbs up, leave a comment down below, and just let me know your thoughts. Until next time, everybody, I want to thank you so much for watching, and have yourselves a great day.